Get ready with me while I share my story about my anxiety and depression. I promise it's not going to be sad. I think we've started from the beginning. I've always been a really anxious person and an overthinker since I was a child. Also, for me as a kid, expressing my emotions was really hard. And most of the times when I couldn't, I would just write a letter to my mom or my sister. But growing up in a Latin family means that you do not talk about anxiety or depression. That does not exist, okay? And it's not because they want to be mean or because they don't care about you. It's simply just not something that in our culture has been normalized until probably this generation of us. So it wasn't until I was in high school and I started getting panic attacks, and my best friend at the time told me what that was because he saw me have one, that I started to learn about panic attacks, anxiety, depression. To be honest with you, for most of my life, I felt like an outcast in my family because I thought everyone else was pretty normal. It was really hard for me actually to get comfortable with talking to my mom and my sister about my anxiety and depression and being vulnerable to tell them what was actually going through my head, which wasn't positive thoughts most of the time. But doing that did open the door for them to get to know a little piece about me that they wouldn't have known otherwise. And when I first started talking to my mom about anxiety and depression, I was in high school, so I want to say 15. And it wasn't until last year when I was 24 that she finally understood and was able to see what that meant. And the reason that it took so long is because it wasn't until last year that I fully allowed myself to not play a character anymore. For many years of my life, I didn't allow my mom or my sister to truly see what anxiety and depression did to me and the thoughts that I had every single day. And when I finally let them in, they were able to see and understand how difficult some days, weeks, and months could be for me. If I could go back, I wish I would have told younger Elizabeth to do that sooner and that there's nothing to be ashamed of, but it's just really hard when no one in your family really goes through that. And while I have a really good relationship with my mom and my sister, it was hard for them to fully grasp what that looked like for me if I didn't allow myself to open up to them. My anxiety and depression goes in episodes. What I mean by that is that there might be some weeks or months that I'm doing really good, and then there are some weeks and months that I completely black out. There have been episodes that have gotten so bad that I kind of just forget most of that month because there's so many emotions and thoughts going in my head. I've gotten much better about letting people in and see those episodes that I do have and see me at my worst, and also reach out to get help, such as therapy. And I'm not ashamed about calling a hotline support. I want to talk more about this, but I also want you to know that if you're going through an episode right now, it's going to be okay, and there's people that want you in their life and would love for you to reach out to them.